playing with the lamp. We got to do the show.
Isn't that the coolest thing you've ever seen?
Yeah, I got it on eBay for $900.
Wow.
It's really great. I guess it was made by a company that does limited edition furniture called IKEA.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Heard of that.
That's really great. Well,
Heard of that.
anyway. Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Doug.
And I'm Pat.
So today we brought in a friend. Sometimes we have to do that if we can find a friend.
Yeah.
To do our second Obscure Amplifier show. And God, we got some good ones today. So we have Stephen Kimberley, who, by the way, is a physician in Eugene, Oregon.
Meaning a doctor?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That is,
Right.
he has a doctorate, but he also sees people and, you know, puts them to sleep and stuff. Here in Oregon,
Cool.
you can do that.
All right.
So excited about that. We're going to play the Heritage H150 into these amplifiers and check them out. And so let's just get on with it. What do you think?
Let's do it. Sometime today.
We're here with Dr. Kimberley. He insists on us calling him doctor, and the reason I'm leaning forward is because I'm sick of it. Up to here, sick of it, and so is Pat. But we're going to right now pretend with the doctor that we're not sick of it, okay? Welcome, doctor.
Thank you,
So-
Dougie.
Because you brought such amazing amplifiers that you may or may not leave with, including, I may point out, the 345 over there. We informed Dr. Kimberley that it's been re-necked and refinished, and the PAFs are fake, and we're going to see a little bit later if he bites down on that. Yeah, turn and cough, sir. That's what we're talking about. So you brought 3 amplifiers up for us, and we're really excited about these because we've read about them and we know a little bit about them, but they're very obscure, but they're really cool. First one we're going to do is the Vox Cambridge Reverb. This amplifier is kind of interesting because it says solid state on it. Is it solid state?
No, it's got like 15 tubes in it.
Wow. Well, that's not solid
It's not
state at all.
solid state, is it?
How do you think it ended up with a solid state thing on it?
Well, when JMI started working with the people in California, and they started sending over chassis, and they were planning on moving to solid state. So that was in the planning process, and I think they were sending over parts like the back panel and all that, and it was just stuck on there. And a year later, or maybe even the same year, they actually did start making solid state stuff.
Yeah.
But somehow this ended up with that, so it's an anomaly.
Yeah. And I think you mentioned earlier when we were talking that they were pushing the solid state stuff. They were all going to,
Yeah.
all Vox in England, Vox United States, they were going solid state.
Yeah.
So they probably were going, well, it's probably better that even though
Because
it's
you don't need to
tube-
change tubes.
No, it is.
right.
Everyone knows that.
Everyone knows that, and we
Everyone
were allowed.
knows that. 65, 66, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's these amplifiers usually came with a 10-inch speaker, which was really cheap. It had a gold plastic back with a bulldog sticker on it, but the
It wasn't a bulldog.
the speaker that they were talking about is actually the one that's in here. This one actually has a 12-inch Alnico Celestion in it, probably right around the same time frame maybe. That's one of the best speakers in the world,
Yeah.
and it has one of those in it. So has reverb because it's a Cambridge Reverb.
Great reverb.
Yeah. How's about
Tremolo, vibrato.
yeah, yeah? It has vibrato, real good vibrato, I think. We're going to where I am play a little bit on it and hear what it sounds like because that's why I brought them.
That's why I brought it.
Yeah, and then we'll talk about
Quick,
money
we'll
later.
critique 'em,
We
yeah.
we have some stickers that we were going to want to talk to because they're really good. We got them in Japan. Hear the reverb? It's loud. I mean, it is pretty loud. It's loud as a deluxe.
Oh yeah.
Deluxe, Fender Deluxe. Like a Tweed and probably almost as loud as like the Blackface. It's pretty loud. That speaker really helps.
Yeah,
Super
more efficient.
hi-fi.
More efficient.
Yeah, so we're still going for PAF tone. This is the Heritage 150. It has ThroBak SLE 101s, which we think is a real good PAF clone. So we're looking to get the best sound of it. Neck pickup like that. Pretty clear. I'll play some more chords if I know any.
See?
Oh, here we go. He's mad now. He's mad. Hold
Jazz
the phone.
chord.
If we're going to get into jazz, we're going to talk about your code.
When I talked to Billy the other day,
Yeah,
we were
Billy
talking
the Kid.
about your jazz chords.
Yeah.
Billy Gibbons?
He said,
What? What did he say?
he said,
Don't make up stuff. What
he
did
said,
he say?
play what you know.
Okay.
We're
Okay.
talking Billy F.
Yeah.
Nice. There you go. You took guitar lessons, didn't you? Nice.
I did. I took one yesterday from Pat.
Did you?
That's why I ended up playing this.
Shadow of your smile.
Treble pickup.
Nice.
Well, I hope it comes through on the recording. It's really loud. It's really hi-fi. Cool amp.
Yeah.
I've
Right.
I've had 3 or 4 of these, and I remember all of them sound like that. This one sounds better because of the speaker.
Yeah. Yeah.
Reverb works perfectly.
Yeah. Thanks to Jack Charles Musdorfer.
Yeah, that's going to get cut out.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, unless, of course, he's going to send it to the Make Doug and Pat Rich Fund. We'll have an address running underneath it.
Right. Right.
And don't send a check again, Jack. Send a cashier's check. You know what I'm talking about. Cool. Let's go on to the next one.
All right.
Next up is the coolest amplifier that we've ever seen, looks-wise, and it sounds really great, too. Omega?
Omega.
Well, what do you know about this Omega thing?
Well, after I bought it, I just thought it was so cool looking, so great sounding, but I couldn't find any information on it on the internet. And every time I Googled it, they'd send me to some guy in England who's making, clones of some kind.
Oh, yeah.
But finally, in the Ampeg book, there were 2 paragraphs saying that Omegas were a Japanese copy of the Ampeg Rocket. And, Everett Hall at Ampeg hated distortion,
Yeah.
built his amps heavy duty,
Yeah.
so they wouldn't distort for the jazz players. And in the late 50s, they came out with a Rocket. I think his engineers, who were a little hipper, said, let's put some 6v6s in there instead of those crazy tubes with 5 numbers that we've been using.
Yeah, that they used to use during World War II, but they're running low on.
Right. And so they had, this amp came out and it was great for blues and rock. And this is a Japanese copy. And the difference, I think, between the Rocket and this is that the chassis is a little flimsier, and the tube complements the same. It's got the same speaker. It's got a nice Jensen speaker in it. But I think the transformers are smaller, so they do seem to saturate a little sooner than a Rocket.
The Rocket, so the Rocket, does,
This is the same grill cloth as the Rocket.
yeah, but is the cabinet the same?
No, no.
I mean,
The Rocket cabinet is pretty standard Ampeg. It's not even a good Ampeg. It's got the blue check,
yeah.
Tolex.
Uh-huh, yeah. 2 channels in this, with 6v6s, and it also has tremolo, which we love tremolo.
Boy, I'd like to have me a coat made of that grill cloth.
Maybe, well,
Just think
Might be
that-
able to.
days early. Probably have to flip the switch to get the tremolo to work, I imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. One channel is normal, and one channel is bright. I think I'd rather be bright than I would normal.
Right, but I did hear that the normal channels on these can sometimes be better than the bright channel. for some
But
reason.
it's really?
Yeah.
So if let's say you were in school, like let's say you were in
Yeah,
medical
right.
school, like you
Normal.
talked about endlessly to us. And so you were there, and I believe you told me that the smartest doctor in the whole office turned to you and said, "You're not normal, you're bright, Stephen Kimberley." And so now you're changing your mind on that? I'm trying to figure out what we're going to leave in the show. It's come apart. We've come off the rails. Okay, 59, you're right about jazz amps. Jazz was the main thing, and there were rock guys who were going up, but they were playing pretty clean. So, sorry, Pat.
Here we go.
Sorry. What kind of speaker does this have in it?
Jensen P12.
Oh, okay. So
R.
Yeah,
P12 R?
right.
Yeah,
It's the
right.
one, and it's the one that probably came with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can hear a little bit more. I think you can hear a bit more of that breakup that comes from that Jensen. That speaker has a teeny little magnet on it.
Yeah.
Well, we do sometimes, and I think you did this. Well, obviously you did in the other 2 amps,
Right.
like the Cambridge with that Alnico in it. That's a world-class speaker.
Yeah.
That amplifier. Fun tip for y'all. If you have a great sounding amplifier and you have a really cheap speaker, because a lot of these companies, Fender included, started cutting the budget on speakers. And so then you end up with a great sounding amp, but you end up with a compromised speaker. Experiment around with them. Keep the original.
Put it in the box.
Put it in the box. And then pop something else in there. Yeah.
More efficient, as Dave Hunter would say.
Yeah. Let's go to the bridge. convincing amplifier.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't even have to sound any good. And like we were talking, I mean, this is the coolest looking amp. So the great news sounds like this. Obviously, it's a great rock amp, great blues amplifier, and a pretty good jazz amp.
Yeah.
Pat.
What?
I'm sorry I said jazz.
Oh,
I said it on camera. I'm sorry I said jazz. Foot switch in here,
Yeah, check it out. It's a doorstop.
just like the Gibson. Whoa! Cool. We
Cool,
like
huh?
it. We like it. We'll talk about
I
it.
forgot about it. I thought I had the tremolo on. I didn't flick the foot
Well,
switch.
Thank goodness that I took the lead
Yeah,
on that one.
I learned something every day.
Like, it's like you're probably used to, so you're probably, world-renowned surgeon guy. He's flown around the world just to go and cut over there. So we're really privileged today to have you here. It's just really amazing. Your entourage is pretty much taking up most of the neighborhood out there.
Yeah, it's just
all
like
the guys
Trump.
in black suits and they all
Right, yeah, Secret
things
Service.
on it. I love it. I love it. Okay, let's go to the next one.
Yes. Save the best for last.
Yep.
Maybe.
This has got to be maybe the coolest one you brought. And, Bonamassa, in his video that he does of his Nerdsville, going through his house and all that stuff, and he pauses, stops going through all the black bass fenders and brown fenders and mint conditioned tweed fenders, and talks about one of these guys. Tell us about this amplifier.
Well, this was made by, it's a DeArmand, made by Rowe Industries, which made all the DeArmand pickups, which were in, almost every guitar in the early 50s. And they were pioneers, and they're from Cincinnati, and I think Rowe Industries is still there in Cincinnati.
They still make stuff.
They still make stuff.
Yeah.
And they make great pickups, really hot-sounding pickups for Gretsch and everybody like that.
I think Les Paul might have even had DeArmand pickups
Yeah,
in his early Les Pauls.
That's right.
Including when they were advertising, "Hi, I'm Les Paul. Here's
Yeah,
my
he had
Les
a- he
Paul."
had like a
They were a
floating DeArmand.
DeArmand pickup in it.
yeah.
Anyway, we digress.
Yeah, and he, the engineers were really good at DeArmand, electronics engineers, and Martin came to them in 1959, and they had been using DeArmand pickups in their electrics, and said, "We'd like you to make an amplifier that has this," and the Martin versions are ugly if you ask me. They have a really weird grill cloth, and they're kind of black. And they said, "Yeah, we can make an amplifier." And so this is what they came up with. And there are people who say that this is like a Tweed Deluxe, like a 5E3 Deluxe, but it's not. It's not. The circuitry is very different, and there's something magic about the circuitry. But it really sounds more Marshall-like. I mean, it sounds very compressed, very, very tight. And I took out the original Jensen special design speaker and put in this much more efficient tone tubby with the hemp cone, and it sounds like
Yeah, see,
Twice
that,
as
and we think that's valid. I mean, we think that that's the thing that you would do, because number one, you're not destroying the amp.
No.
The speaker comes right out. Put in something that fits what you're using it for, and make it sound better if that's up to
Yeah,
you. I mean, it's one thing if you, cut a hole in it, but
right.
6V6s in this?
Yeah, 6V6. When I got it, it had 6L6s in. Some guy stuck them in there. I took those out, put in a match set of 6V6s, 12AX7 preamp, 5Y3 rectifier.
Did it from the factory come with 6L6s?
No, no,
Yeah. Okay.
no, 6V6s. Yeah. And they actually made this is the R15. They made an R5, which was 5 watt, with one 6V6.
Mhm.
And this is two 6V6s. And then they made an R25T, which is so rare that you never see them. There are probably like 10 out there. And it has two 10s and 6L6s and 25 watts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has 2 channels and it has tremolo, so we're kind of running into that same thing. 59, that was really pre-reverb. I don't think there were any amplifiers with reverb in 59.
No. Let me get that, just read a little bit off of this. It's pretty funny. This is an original ad from from DeArmand, and it says, "For those who insist on quality, as we do, warmly accepted as expected."
Oh, I like it.
DeArmand musical instrument amplifiers. And it says down here that certainly our long experience in the manufacture of string instrument microphones, I think they're referring to pickups there,
Right.
has been fully drawn upon in the design of these new amplifiers. We can assure you of that.
That's the assurance we need. that experience right there.
That's right.
Yeah. It has a kind of a cool Tolexy thing on it. It's
Coppery.
kind of- coppery, and I'm running some pictures of the amplifier
Cool.
as we speak, so that if we're doing something like, Pat switched into his new coat there, and if people want to see it a little bit more.
Yes, and this is my favorite part of the coat.
Isn't that Billy Gibbons?
See, it's saying something like
Oh, yeah.
little flying V's.
They're called darts.
They are, and I can see why they're called dart. Made in the U.S. of A.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's like mine.
Yeah.
Vapes. Made in California.
Representing here, people. I'm going to plug this into the tremolo channel.
That's the hot one.
15 watts.
Yeah. 15, maybe 18.
Hollies. Right out of the box, I got to tell you that it's hi-fi.
Yeah.
It's really like the tone tubby is a good complement to this amplifier.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like you put in some sort of speaker that would shock you, right?
Right.
It sounds really warm.
Well, my amp guy, Mike Nesmith of Twisted Wires in Eugene, he put the tone tubby in, and he had to take the cone out just to get it to fit in. And I called him and said, "What's it sound like?" And he goes, "Sounds like a Marshall." It's a dry wet.
Neck pickup.
Didn't sound at all like the Hollies.
Not right.
Didn't sound much like the
It
Hollies.
didn't sound like the Hollies.
Says
at all.
Pat with one of his 50-plus sport coats. I heard there's a shortage of sports coats in Hillsborough now.
Yeah, right.
Amazing. It's really ballsy. It has a lot of top end to it if you want. I'm in the tremolo. So the tremolo channel is the ballsier
Stick
one?
it in a different channel, you'll see it's different. Oh. That might be the hotter one, actually.
I turned the guitar over.
Right.
Dang! These are little monsters. Is it built? Is it like a cabinet made out of wood and all
Yeah,
that
it's
stuff?
solid wood. It's a
Were they
beautiful cabinet.
expensive?
They were fairly expensive, I think. Now, now they only made them for 2 years.
Huh.
2 years, 59 and 60, and they're really rare. And you can find, the Martins maybe even more frequently than these, because they were ugly. But anyway,
We don't do ugly around
no.
here. No. Dang. That's really cool. So maybe we'll have a little special treat that we'll do with Dr. Kimberley playing his, is it 61
61
345?
345.
Has it got the PAFs in it?
Goddamn PAFs in it.
PAFs.
And I had it changed from stereo to mono.
It's not no stereo. We don't
No,
need it.
no.
People want to go back to the Mondo. That's what they want to
Mondo.
do. they want to do. Maybe we'll have a special treat with that going on.
All right.
Okay, we'll be right back. That was pretty fun for us.
Man, I tell you, for me, that Omega amp was the guy. You know, it's
Unreal.
yeah.
How great it looked and it
Fun.
sounded great.
The grill cloth. You know, I want a coat made of that
I
stuff.
know.
That's-
The way that it was cut in, the cabinet cut in, it was just so deco, so
Well,
fabulous.
and something about 6v6s
Yeah.
for me.
Also, it's about, we talked about this, about you just can't find amplifiers like that anymore. So if you're
Yeah.
a younger person who's never been around them, you'd never experienced something like that. They're obscure, they're a little under the radar compared to Fender and you know, Gibson and Marshall, and of course we did do a Vox, but it's not an AC30.
Got for recording, those are just great, and they're great size, you know, being 15, 18 watts.
Yep.
You know, they're
Yep. The changed out speaker in a couple of those amplifiers, you could really
Makes the
hear.
difference.
Because some of those amplifiers, the speakers were pretty cheap. The speakers, a lot of times, were cheaper than the build of the amplifier.
Yeah.
And this includes Fender, too, to a large degree. So swapping a speaker out and not cutting holes in it is perfectly acceptable to us.
Yep.
A reminder to go to our website, thedougandpatshow.com. You can see all the shows there. You can also go to the Chasing Oscar project, where we play all of the pickups and all the different guitars on the same song with the same recording technique. The only thing that changes is the pickups and the guitar, so you can hear what they sound like.
Yeah.
Yep.
Same player, same
Same player.
style of music.
Say everything's the same except that the pickups and that change. So that's an opportunity to hear some of those pickups if you're wondering what they sound like in a recorded track.
Did you ever get a call from Billy?
You got the call.
Well, I got a call.
Well, he called my number.
I told him to call you.
Yeah, and he did, but then he just said, "Tell him that."
Oh.
Yeah, so I guess that
Well,
says a lot.
From what I understand, he's very interested in coming on the Doug and Pat show.
Is he?
That's what I heard.
Uh-huh.
That's what I heard.
Mhm.
So,
Because we were borderline on that for a long time. I
well, he
mean,
kind of got this whole thing started.
for us,
You know, yeah.
to,
yeah,
well, yeah, as we touched on in some of those other shows.
Yep.
He did. He was an important figure. His hot sauce stuff that he's doing now, we're willing to talk about the hot sauce
Yep.
with Billy if he wants to come on the show, as long as one of the hot sauces is called, "What amp did you use on the ZZ Top first album?"
You know, he could bring some hot sauce, and I make some pretty mean enchiladas.
Yeah.
You know, sour cream enchiladas.
I'm coming to that one.
You know, he brings the hot sauce, you bring the cigars,
Yeah.
and I'll bring some enchiladas.
Enchiladas.
That's right.
Billy, we're talking to you. Listeners out there, we're talking to you. Let's get Billy in town here in Portland, Oregon. Let's
Yep.
get him on the show. Bring the hot sauce. The amp I played on ZZ Top's first album, and then we'll have a show.
That's it.
Okay.
That'll do.
Thanks, guys. See you next time. I'm Doug.
And I'm Pat.
Bye.
See ya.
And now, for your entertainment, get this. How long have you waited to see your doctor? Right now!
All right, man.